Okay. So Shalom Aleichem to everyone. We're in Pashas Behar. There's 3 psukim. Rabbi Yosef. There's one here. There's one here. The definition. We have all what we have here. Hakol po. So what does it say? 3 psukim in Pashas Behar. V'chi amuch achicha. If your brother becomes poor, u'matei yado imach, and he sticks out a hand, v'chzakta, hold on to him. Ger v'toshav b'chei imach. אל תיקח מאיתו נשך וסרביס, וירסם מאלוקיך, וחי אחיך עמך. Again, אחיך. את כספך לא תיתן לו בנשך, ובבמרביס לא תיתן לו אוכלך. And the last pasuk, it's 4 psukim, אני השם אלוקיכם, אשר רוצה שיסכם מארץ מצרים, לעשש לכם בארץ כנען, ליועץ לכם לאלוקים. So if you have a sharp vision, you'll see on that last pasuk, there's 5 words which are added to the pasuk that was said in Shema. If you take out those 5 subtle, unnoticeable words, you would see it's mamash what we say in Shema. Ani Hashem Elokechem, asher hotzei eschem me'eretz Mitzrayim, li'os lechem le'elokim. But here are added 5 words. L'ses lechem b'eretz Canaan, li'os lechem le'elokim. Rabbi said, does it make sense why Eretz Yisrael is mentioned here? What would you say? In the Parsha of Tzitzis, Eretz Yisrael is not mentioned. And here it is. What makes more sense? To mention? Okay. I would think not to mention. It's not a mitzvah tluya b'aretz. Ribbis is all over the world. Like Tzitzis is all over the world. It's not Trumas and Maestros and all these mitzvahs tluya b'aretz. So, manyan, why Eretz Yisrael is mentioned here? But let's go on. Here comes a story that happened in Yerushalayim in 1993. Michael, I don't know if you were born yet, okay, but other people might have, okay? No, young people here? Okay, so give a look. Yipi Hashmua, that's what they said in Yerushalayim then. Maseh b'Yehudi sheniftar b'chutz haaretz, a Yid that was niftar in chutz haaretz, v'huva l'kfur b'Yerushalayim. And it was brought to be buried in Yerushalayim. That's again with Cheber Kadisha. That's Ma'aseh B'chol Yom. Kasher karu et kibro, the day before when they digged up his grave, miyad nitmaleh hagumah. Immediately the pit was filled. Ba'achboroshim imtaniyim, vicious rats. Kach ira shalosh pamim. It happens sometimes, especially if there's a sewage nearby. It could happen. But 3 times, and they did a few 100 meters one from another. They asked Rav Yosef, what's going on here? Hagra shel Yosef Zatzal hora livdok be'ima niftar asak b'nyanei ribis. Maybe what's happening here will be understood if the niftar was oisek in ribis, unfortunately. B'kach habe. It turned out to be, he was a wealthy Jew, but he made a lot of his money from ribis. The family had to do a special tikkun to give back, I don't know, millions to tzedakah, ba'ad haniftar. I'm sorry? Yeah, of course. Of course. There's a pashut. So the question is, Rav Yosef immediately understood there's something ribis about here. Let's see, we're going to try and understand it. Let's go on. You know, the Messiah Yisharim in Perek Yud Aleph gives a list of averos that people are a little bit lenient about, and he wants to menchazik them and admire them how serious they are. That's what Perek Yud Aleph is about. And look what he says about ribis. Oven in Baks Gimel, Messiah Yisharim in Perek Yud Aleph. Oven haribis shegodahu. That's a very serious avera. Ki koifer be'elokei Yisrael chas v'chalila. It's a denial of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Ba'om muzal al apostol b'neshech nosan. The Soviets lakach chaya lo yichya. It's a pasuk in Yecheskel Perek Yud Ches, very appropriate. She'eino chay l'tchias hamesim. Ki hu v'avak shelo meshukatz u'metuah b'nei Hashem. Ve'eini ro'eh tzorach larich b'zeh. There's no need for me to elaborate on this avera. Shekvar eimasoi, it's fear. Muteles al kol ish Yisrael. Every Yid's petrified from ribis. But Rabbi say he quotes a medrash, and it's based on a pasuk in Yecheskel, that someone that's malva beribis will not make it with Tchias HaMeisim. And here comes a story in Chut HaMeshulash. Chut HaMeshulash is the biography of the Rebbe Akiva Eiger, the Chassam Sofer, and the Ksav Sofer. That's how it's called, Chut HaMeshulash. And over there on page 212, on the footnote on the bottom, I knew the Maaseh, but I saw it was documented. Maaseh haya b'Rebbe Akiva Eiger Skin Nizal. A Maaseh with Rebbe Akiva Eiger Maizedi. Shemet bepozna ashir gadol echad. Died a rich man, shaya malve beribis. ולא רצו אנשי החברה קדישא לקברו עד כי ייתנו יורשיו סך 1,000 רובל מאוס קבורה. He owed money to the Kehila, which he never paid up. In those days, what was the leverage? At the Kfura. Pay for it. Vayichal lehem ma'od. The family was very upset that they're asking so much money for a Kfura. Vayilchu b'koblana el hanasich. And they went to complain to the Nasich.
The Duke, Prince, whoever it was.
What? The Duke? Yeah. It was after the coronation. So, yeah, whatever it was. But it's probably called skinny. Because the Jews weren't allowed to have their own system to collect money. It was illegal. Like, you can't collect money. The government has to do it. שהיה רב המדינה, וידבר אליו קשות. מדוע אתם מבקשים סך גדול כזה בעד 4 עמוס קרקע? The regular price is 50 ruble. Why are you asking 1,000? They couldn't say the real truth. ויען סקיני אליו. התלמוד שלנו איתה, it's not a Talmud, it's a Medrash, המר ובריביס אינו קם לזכיית המעשים. והנה איש הזה, כל פרנס עשוי ואושרוי, היה רק מריביס. והנה, כאשר ימות איש אחר, אנו לוקחים ממנו מאוד קבועה דבר מועט, כי מחכים אנו לזכיית המעשים בקורב. ואז יחזור לו הקרקע. So, a year's buried in... for a week, there'll be Tchias HaMeisim in a few days. So for a few days, you take 50 rubles. לא כן האיש הזה, שאינו עומד בתחיית המעשים, הרי מוכרים לו הקרקע לעילומים, לכן הקרקע שווה כל כסף שמבקשים. הוטב הדבר בעיני הנסיך, וציווה לתת בלי מגרעת. אחר פעם רגע, it's logical. If for a week we take 50 rubles, if it's forever, we take 1,000 rubles. So the Rebbe built on this Yisod. But so let's try to understand this. And that's question number 1. Do you know of any other single Avera that the punishment is he doesn't make it for Tchias HaMeisim? There is a Sachakol. You know, for Chas V'Shalom, a person's a Rasha Marusha, so he won't make it for Tchias HaMeisim. Olam Haba, Chas V'Shalom. But to single out one Avera, and to say, because of this Avera, he won't make it for Tchias HaMeisim. Rabbi say, at the end of the day, it's an Isur Lav. I'm not Chas V'Shalom coming to minimize an Isur Lav, but it's not an Isur Misa. It's not an Isur Kores. It's not the 3 cardinal Averas. So why ain't he coming to Tchias HaMeisim? He won't make it for Olam Haba then. Ma pshat was it? And specifically on Ribis, I do not know of any other single Avera that they say on it that because of this Avera you won't make it for Tchias HaMeisim. If the Olam knows, tell me. I'm not familiar with one. Besach HaKol, there could be Eilu she'ein lehem chelik lo Olam Haba. You know, fine. Not fine, Nebuch. But to say that one Avera, which is Isur Lav, meaning it's not the most severe Avera, because Isur Misa, Isur Kores is more severe. There's Yorig Val Yavor. Even in Chilul Shabbos, even in Avad Yisrael, it says, Eino Kam L'Tchias HaMeisim. Not that I'm familiar with. But by Ribis, yeah. What's the pshat that by Ribis, Eino Kam L'Tchias HaMeisim? What? I don't know. A murderer. I don't know. I don't know if it says a Shlichus David doesn't make it to Tchias HaMeisim. I personally don't know. It could be. Maybe suicide's worse than a regular killer? I don't know.
I think also you find in the Gemara in Ezel Neshech on the other place of the traces when Yechezkel was in the Dura to Chaim making the bones, I think the traces brings out Pirkei de Berezer that there was a Malva Ribbis that he wouldn't be Chaim Mason.
Wow.
I think from memory,
Okay.
because you've shown Ein Aleph, I think
In that area. Okay, Shkeach. Shkeach Haboch. So that's question number 1 is, why is it miyuchad here? What's the midah keneged midah? Malva beribis, which is Isur Lav, won't make it for Tchias HaMeisim. Hashem Yirachem. Let's go on to Bak's Bet. This is the passage that we say in Shema. Ani Hashem Lokechem, Asher Tzitzchem Eretz Yisrael, Nisachem Lokim, Ani Hashem Lokechem. There's no mention of Eretz Yisrael. And when you compare it to Bak's Aleph, again, if you have a very sensitive eyesight, you see, no one's laughing. Okay, Lasesach Eretz Knan is added. Why is Eretz Yisrael mentioned here? If you take out those 5 words, it's identical to the Parsha of Tzitzis. So what's the pshat? Okay, Rabbi said, I would like to add maybe just 2 more questions. Balpeh. Where else do you find on a monetary issue that if both parties agree, the Torah steps in and said you can't do it?
No.
What?
I know.
I know if the guy's Michael, if he says Moshe, I don't care. It's a matana. I'm willing to give more. I know Gzela, Gnevas, all that one party is taking advantage of the other party. And the other party is very unhappy about this. But let's say if someone gives a loan £100,000 and asks in return £105,000. And the borrower tells him, wow, that's so nice of you. The bank takes much more. I'm very happy to do it. The Torah will step in and say, Nein, mimegnisht. You're not allowed to. You can do whatever you want with your money. I mean, there's Isam al-Tashchis. I could mafkir my money. I could throw it out the window. So if 2 Yidden decide to Mechal Shabbos, they're not bailing on it. Of course they cannot do that. 2 Yidden decide to eat treif. They're not bailing on it. But 2 Yidden decide to do a monetary business deal between them, and they both agree, and the Torah will step in and say, don't do it? Give me any other example like that in Kol HaTorah Kula. Lo makil. In Mamadis. What?
It's knas. Someone has to pay knas to somebody for a show or something. You can't say, you don't need to pay it.
Yes, you could. You could be Machal. Yeah.
But that's knas, that's not on.
First of all, but you could be Machal. You can say, I'm Machal you. So what's up, shot? So that's question number 2. Question number 3, I want to ask a Hasidic question because since we're in Hagrid. So I want to ask the last question. Ribis is the letters of bris. Not a gematria, but the same letters. What does that mean? So again, the Litvish approach means, Leda! I don't know what it means. I got to work out all these words. But let's see. I heard this from Moshe Shapiro itself. The ribis is letters of bris. As makatupo. So let's sum up. We have here 4 questions. Question number 1. What's the midah keneged midah, an isulav of the Torah, to say that because of that he won't be oimed the Tchias HaMesim? And the story with Rabbi Kveger and the story with Rabbi Yoshib and the Messiah Sisharm. Ma hapshat b'zeh? That's question number 1. Question number 2. Why is Eretz Yisrael mentioned here in this pasuk more than, let's say, in Tzitzis? It's not a mitzvah tluy ba'aretz. So why is it mentioned here? Question number 3. It's a financial agreement, a monetary agreement between 2 parties, and the Gerada could be both very happy with it. And yet the Torah steps in and says you cannot do it. Where do you find such a parallel in any other monetary business? And the last question, bris ribis makatupa. So here comes the Maharal Rabbi say, let's get out to know something. We're going to learn now Maharal. Usually when the Maharal says it once, he says it in others from a few times. That's his style. Today we're going to learn the Yosef the Maharal, which is written only here. It doesn't appear anywhere else. The Avnei Nezer quotes this, Maharal, and they did a very nice new edition of the Avnei Nezer, finding out all the Maharal that he's quoting. And then when they reached this Maharal, they said, Lo matzanu. We couldn't find it. Because it only appears once. It's not like very common. It was like before the days of computer, it was like 30 years ago that they did this new edition. He said, Lo matzanu. But he says so. But he's referring to the Maharal that we're going to learn today. Isn't that exciting, guys? What do you say, Cheved? Yeah? Everybody on fire? Speaking about fire, we had yesterday Reb Shraka Kalas came to our Besmedrash for half an hour. I never saw him in action like that before. Pure fire. Energy. Pure energy. The boys were dancing with him and eating out of his hand. Mamish, Pasha living such an inspirational, fiery life. He came to ask me for half an hour. I asked the boys afterwards, who do you think enjoys Olam Hazeh more? Him or Messi? They said, without a doubt, him. You see, every second it's like, wow. Messi makes more money, don't get me wrong. You probably don't know who Messi is. Messi himself, I'm going, he makes a lot of money. What? Shragi. Fire. Very good. Very good. I haven't paid attention to that. Okay. So to answer these questions, Chava, the Maral says, you want to know why ribbis is so terrible? Let me explain to you the mitzvah of halva. And then, the opposites are the same. One, you want to know what black is, you got to know what white is. You want to know what geula means, you got to know what golus is, etc. You want to know what's terrible about ribbis? Let me show you what's so unbelievable about the mitzvah of halva. And then you'll understand what's ribbis about. We cannot understand the severity of this sin of ribis. Only first if we explain the mitzvah of getting a loan. If two people come to ask for a loan, one is poor and one is rich. Ani kodem. The ani gets it first. Shenema et ani imach. Says the Maral. Umizeh mashma ki yashir gam ken mitzvah lelvasa. This applies as a mitzvah also to give a loan to a wealthy man. Just the ani comes first. The Goyen says the same deal in the Shulchan. B'diuk the same deal. It doesn't say ani v'asher mitzvah b'ani. It says ani koidem, which applies if Bill Gates, let's say, would be Jewish and he's a little bit stuck and he's alone. There's a big mitzvah to give him halva, even to Bill Gates. Why? מאחר שהוא יש עושר, למה צריך להלווה? הרי בלוזה יש לו עושר. Let him cash a few stocks. What's the big deal? אבל דובר זה. Look at the Halak Kamal saying. כי ישראל הם עם אחד לגמרי. עד שהם נקראים אחים. Like mentioned in the Pasha Ribis twice. ואי אפשר שיהיו אחד, אם לא שזה מקבל מזה וזה מקבל מזה. ובזה הם אחד לגמרי. Meaning, how do you make a cholent? You take carrots, meat, potatoes, beans, vegetables. How do you make it into one cholent? There should be a salad. It should be one cholent. You cook it together, and each one gives from his flavor to the other, and that's how they become one. There's no way that we can become one if each one's going to live totally individual on his own. So there has to be a constant interaction from one to another. Reuben gets from Shimon, and Shimon gets from Levi, and Levi gets from Yehuda, and the whole time. That's the only way to make a melting pot. That's the only way to do it. Okay. I'll say orally what the Maral is saying here. He's going to quote a Medrash. All the creations, all the creatures of the Bria are constantly learning from each other. The night takes from the day in the winter. This day takes from the night in the summer. The moon from the sun from the moon. There's always an interaction going on in the Bria. You know why? To make it into one. Because it came from one creator. How do you make Am Yisrael into one? By giving loans to each other. Namely, the mitzvah of halva is not to help the needy. That's not the mitzvah. That's the mitzvah of tzedakah. If it would have been to help the needy, there would be no inyan to give a loan to a usher. Rather, what's the minyan of halva? To bring out unity, to bring out achdus, to perpetuate unity. How do you do it? If someone needs a loan, that means he's a little bit in distress. I give him a hand. I'm accompanying him. I'm with him. There's something of me with him. And that's how we all become one. Rabbi said, look at the Chachma of Lashon HaKodesh, the word halva'ah, which is the Lashon of Torah. In Kesef Talveh Tamei, what does the word halva'ah really mean? Look at the root. Lamed Vav Hey, what's the root? To accompany. Levaya of a mess is the same word. Levi kapami levini ishi. Nachon? The levaya of guests. You know, when you walk them out. And also halva of alone. It's called the same. It's coming to say, I'm accompanying you. I'm with you. You're not alone. How's it called in English? Alone. You see the chilik between Lashon HaKodesh and English? In Hebrew, it's called, you're not alone. In English, if you need money, you're very much alone. Now, I know it's spelled differently. L-O-N-E versus L-O-A-N, but it's the same gematria. Check it out and see. There's double gematria. But it's ma'anyen. Nevertheless, in Hebrew, it's called, Ich bin mit euch. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm accompanying you. And in English, it sounds, you're all by yourself. Okay. Let's go on. That's what the Mal says. He builds up a little bit more, but that's what he says. Now let's go to the next page. Okay. Fine. We can make out of it like a sefer. Good. Once we explain what's so great about the mitzvah halva, and by the way, everybody says, so that's why is there a mitzvah even to someone wealthy? Because it's to bring an achdus. I want to tell the oil, you're allowed to have also wealthy friends. Doesn't mean that you always have to have poor friends. Ari, mutar lech something mutar. It's nicht the issue. We want to make achdus with wealthy people also. Lama no? Therefore, there's a mitzvah also, to, even with the rich person, because it's not coming to help the needy or to address a poverty. It's rather, let me give you a hand. That's what it is. You know what ribbis is? The mitzvah alva, a friend in need is a friend indeed. That's what it is. You need money? I'll help you. The Maral over there explains it's even more than tzedakah or matana. Because tzedakah matana, once I give it to you, it's yours. It doesn't have to do with me anymore. No strings attached. Halva, you still have to pay back. Halva, it's called the milvelo itzanitna, but in a hidden way, it still belongs to the malveh. That Ramesh Shapir's Zatzal would say, the word chov, which is another word for loan, comes from the word chavui. It's hidden. Because it looks like it belongs to the borrower, but it really belongs to the lender. And then when you pay back, it's called in Hebrew, piraon. What does piraon also mean? To uncover. Uparat rosh haisha, kifro Aaron. Rabbi said, the chachma of Lashon HaKodesh, I'm serious, that's what I do. Just I want to give a good, I find it very, very geschmack. When I'm driving or whatever, I have time to think. Or so you can listen to a shir, which is gewaldig, or start thinking about Hebrew words. You won't believe what you're going to discover. The shiroshim. You won't believe it. Especially if it's words obviously from Chazal Tanakh. Ben Yehuda is a loida. It's a different din. You know how you call a jam in Hebrew? Modern Hebrew? A jam. Riba. Where do you get riba from? He opened up a Chazal somewhere that says, my riba, what are you coming to include? Riba Paris. So he said, I guess Paris, something with Paris is called riba. I promise you that's how it came out. He opened up some kind of Chazal in the middle of nowhere. My riba, what are you coming to include? Riba Paris. So if it's Paris, it's called riba. Ada Yom, that's what they call a jam in Hebrew. Riba. Okay, so here comes the Mahalan's going to say, now once we explained how great the mitzvah of halva is, because it perpetuates unity and it makes Am Yisrael into one, now you see why ribis is so bitter and terrible. Let's go on to Bakzayin. Umizeh yesh lecha lavin kama gadol onsho mishlokech ribis. Ki haTorah amra שהמצווה שיהיה מלווה לחברו ישראל. ribis is always done with a loan. שבשלוקח נעשו ישראל לעם אחד לגמרי, כאשר מקבל זה מזה, ואינם גוזלים זה מזה. וזה מלווה לו בריביס ונושך אותו. וכל נשיכו הוא העדר לאותו שנושך. והוא כמו נשיכת נחש. Says the Maharal, you know why ribis is so terrible? You have all the ingredients to make a friend in need as a friend indeed. And you take those very same ingredients and the how do you do when you throw the dice? How it's called? When you roll the dice, it's the same ingredients, but you could roll it in one way to a friend in need as a friend indeed, or in other ways, I'm going to take advantage of this guy. I'm going to suck his blood. I'm going to bite him. Ribis from the word ribui, increasing your money. So meaning, because it could go either way, and because you have all the ingredients is needed to make a beautiful achdus, and you take those very same ingredients and roll the dice in a way that I'm going to take advantage of them. Because when someone's in a distressful situation, there's two responses. One, I'll help you. One, I'll take advantage of you. But since it can be done as a vehicle for achdus, and you use it for the anti-achdus, therefore it's so terrible. Stop when you steal. Of course it's terrible, but I don't know if you're in a position to make achdus anyway. So it's bad. But when you could have done it this way, and would have been so positive, and you do it that way, which is so negative, that makes it so much more worse. Hagam lichbosh et hamalkai iti babayit. You could have done it in such a good way. Remember, say that's like a bris and ribis are the same letters. How do you roll the dice of this situation? You want to make a bris out of it, which means unity, one, or you're going to use it, the very same letters, for your personal gain, ribis. And because it could go either way, and because it could be used in such a beautiful way, and instead you take it for something the total opposite, it's so severe. And then the Ram goes on explaining, in this box, that's it's the only monetary law that the Torah prohibits. He says you don't find that anywhere else. Everything's done willingly. The lender, the borrower would have wanted maybe without ribis. I also, when I go to the store, I would like kosher kingdom to sell cheaper. That's all, but that's not fair. They can sell the way they want. You don't want it, don't go there. That doesn't make it usher because I would like it cheap. I would like it for free. That's not a taina. But the nekuda is that there's something beyond money here, which the two people don't have Bibles on. The achdus of Am Yisrael.
But the fact that the lender has actually helped the loiver with the loan, isn't that a demonstration of the
You know, but he's taking advantage. He's asking money for it. The Torah calls it neshicha. The Torah calls it biting. Neshichat nachash. That's what.
But if the standpoint is, he's disturbing the achdus, he hasn't, because one's in need and said, I'll meet your need.
But he's asking money for it. That's ribis.
What happens if they both agree?
What's what?
What if they both agree?
Yeah, we're speaking that they both agree,
I'm doing it.
and it's still usher
If you get something out of it, so he's
because
done
there's a damage being done here beyond the two of you. But person, just like a wedding of two people is not a personal, individual event. You know, when we all go to weddings, we feel it, if not consciously, subconsciously. I felt it last night. But it's a national event. When Beryl marries Spritza, it's a national event. No, it's not. It's just two private people. No, I'll prove it to you. Yerushalayim. Is Yerushalayim something national or private? National. So two people marry each other, it's Kilu Bona Achas Mechuvos Yerushalayim? There's an Indian sometimes that's, even though it's two people, it's a national thing. And that's ribis. And no one has bailus to prevent achdus in Am Yisrael. Therefore, ribis is also. That's what the Malach wasn't explaining here.
What's better, not to give the loan, or to give,
I don't know.
give the loan and
Obviously, not to give the loan. You're not binding him.
you're not helping him, right?
But binding is worse. It's neshech. The Torah calls it neshech. For the word neshicha.
One's become ba'aseh.
What's Mekumaseh? Right? Now, Rabbi said, here comes.
You can use that as a sorry. You know that ribis is in Yerodeh, not in Choshen Mishpah.
Yes.
Is there any, based on
I
that,
don't know.
stretch it to that?
I don't know.
Because it's
You're saying you bring it right. It's not only monetary. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, 'cause-
But
That's why the Torah put it there, because he decided.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
not the proof. It's the
yeah, it's a simon double. Yeah, that's what Baruch saying. Why did the Torah put it there? Because Now here comes the Malam Rabbi, and here he comes to Sesi Yisrael. He asks, why is Eretz Yisrael mentioned here? And look what he's going to say, Chavah. And we're now Maxchet. Therefore, the Torah said, את כספך לא תיתנו בנשך, אני השם אלוקיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, לעשות אתכם את ארץ כנען, להיות לכם אלוקים. ומה עניין זה לכאן שאמר לתת לכם את ארץ כנען, להיות לכם אלוקים? Meaning, why is Eretz Yisrael mentioned here? And here he says, a Yisrael. אבל הפירוש הנראה, כי כאשר נכנסו ישראל לארץ, היו ישראל עם אחד לגמרי. Eretz Yisrael makes us into one. אתה אחד, ושמך אחד, ומי כעמך ישראל, גוי אחד בארץ. That's what it says. It means Eretz Yisrael. אבל הפירוש שנראה כי כאשר נכנסו ישראל לארץ, היו ישראל עם אחד לגמרי. וראיה לזה, שהרי כל זמן שישראל לא עברו הירדן, ולא באו לארץ, לא נשו על הנסתורס. We were not responsible for the hidden affairs of others. עד שעברו ונעשו ערבים זה בעד זה. It's a mefesh Gemara, Rabbi say. The halacha of כל ישראל ערבים זה בזה kicked in when they עברו Sayadin, when they entered Eretz Yisrael. Bekitzer, make yourself a simon. Arabs and Arabim ve'Arivim is only in Eretz Yisrael. When do we become Arabim for each other? Misha'av Sayadin. It's a Gemara. When they crossed the Jordan River. What? Very good. Very good. And that leads me to Uber. Okay, well, I don't know. We'll see how. Okay. Hare שלא נעשו ישראל ערבים זה בעד זה, כי נקרא ערב שהוא מעורב עם השני. ולא נעשו ישראל מחוברים להיות עם אחד לגמרי עד שבאו לארץ. והיו ביחד בארץ. והיה להם מוקם אחד הוא ארץ ישראל. ועל ידי ארץ ישראל הם עם אחד לגמרי. You see the Maral underlined it. על ידי ארץ ישראל הם עם אחד לגמרי. ולכך כסיב גם כן להיות לכם לאלוקים, כי יש להם כל אחד, וגם את כספך לא תיתן מנשה ומית לא תנח לך. Meaning, you're not going to mention Yisrael is mentioned here? HaKadosh Baruch is giving us the reasons why you should not take ribis from each other. A, Achicha, that the Maral said a little before, he's your brother. You're binding your brother. B, I give you Eretz Yisrael. That makes you into one. So why are you binding each other? Why are you sucking each other's blood? Why are you doing that? You're supposed to be one. And one of the ingredients is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us to make us one is Eretz Yisrael. I gave you Eretz Yisrael. Why are you taking ribis? Meaning Eretz Yisrael is the antithesis of ribis. And don't take ribis because I give you Eretz Yisrael. That's what the Maral says here. And this is the only place I think in his farm that he says this idea that Eretz Yisrael makes us into one. When you look today in Eretz Yisrael, it's a little tzorchim tzat. Okay, I agree. Abissa needs a little bit beer. Where's the Achdus B'diuk in Eretz Yisrael? Okay, fine. But that's the reason. Because we're so one, and when there's a dispute in the family, it's much more bitter than it's a dispute between strangers. Eretz Yisrael makes us into one family. And therefore, it could go either way. But Al Kopanim, that's the Maral saying. He says the word Arev comes from the word not only responsible, Me'urav. Again, everybody says he's alluding to the Yisod. I think we spoke about it once. Look how many words in Hebrew are with the Shorish Ayin Reish Bet. We spoke about that, no? You remember? About like 10 words. Evening, Erev, an Arev responsible, Arava of a lulav. Orev is a raven. Arev sweet. Eruv, Aravi. Aravi is also a word in Arabic that we use 7. Ma'arav west. Okay, Arab, that's Arab. And there's more. Yeah, Arab, that's sweet. But Arab not.
I'm talking about the one of the macros.
And Arab, yeah, it will be of animals. And all means a mixture. All of it. All of it has to do with the mixture. Eruv means, in Loveness, the Eruv means it makes the whole city into one. When it's sweet, you digest it becomes part of you. Biologically. Urav, that's become Arev. Arev, a guarantor for a loan. Because a loan is two people. A lender and a borrower. So he's intervening. At night, why is it called Erev? Because things start to get mixed up with each other. Because it's dark.
It's like the joining of the day and the night.
But then you should have what else at the end of the night with the day, which you don't have. But I'll go name. The word Boker. What does Boker mean? What does Boker mean? Morning. But look at the root. Levaker, to differentiate. Because there's light, you could differentiate. The Radak says that. This is what Bali Adikuk say it. Boker ve'erev, to differentiate and to mix. Aravi. What do you want to say about
Maybe there's another multifaceted approach one can take to the Kesher to Eretz Yisrael, which also ultimately shows our chiv of bitochen when it comes to money with Rebbein Shloim. What's the shaykhs of Halvot to Eretz Yisrael? Shmita. Shmita is Mishamet is halvois. So the teva person would be inclined not to want to give a halvot. Elamai, we realize that Rebbein Shloim is resourcing all of us. So therefore, between halvot and Shmita, Eretz Yisrael,
Very nice. It's Misham Talbo. It's very nice.
which is connected to teva of the Yehudi.
Yeah, it says Meferish. The Chiyichan Levavcha. 100%. Very nice. Very nice idea.
If you're lending money, it's so bad, I can't tell me that it is.
Okay, we'll see. So the practical questions are with Poiskim. Now we're going to see soon. But I'm going to get to it. Wait a second. Aravi. Why is it called for the word Erev? Again, Arav, because that's when the sun goes down. It becomes evening. It's all it's do. And Arab, it's unbelievable what we say. That's the definition of terrorism. He sits with you on the bus. He walks amongst you. Yado bakol b'yad kol bo. That's what the Torah said about Yishmael. What were wars before? One country on one side, one country on the other side. They have a war. But here they're mu'uvavim b'cha. They walk on the streets together with you. You got to look around to see who's behind your back. That is Aravi. I said this once to Moshe Shapiro. He said 100% that's a shot. And he said the pasuk Yado bakol b'yad kol bo, which means no borders. Okay, so the Maharal is touching upon him. It says Kol Yisrael Arevi means the Mu'uravim. Once we crossed the Jordan River, we became one. So Rizbo was saying, you're one people. Why are you doing this to each other? I'm sorry? What? Yeah, that's a different word. Yeah, we're speaking about Ein Reish Bet. Okay? Beseder Gomor. Now, once Eretz Yisrael plays just such a great role, and outline also what Michal added, and that's what Eretz Yisrael is mentioned here. Hey, don't take ribbis. I gave you what it takes not to take ribbis. I give Eretz Yisrael. So Eretz Yisrael is a major player in this ball game. Absolutely. And someone who's Malvi ribbis, he is putting himself on the opposite spectrum of Eretz Yisrael. Because Eretz Yisrael perpetuates unity, and Ribis is the exact opposite. Maybe that's because Ribis is also in English rabies. I don't know. No, of a dog. Rabies. Okay, that's a little bit too much of a chiddush. Okay, like I said. Anyway, I'll call upon him. This we know. Tchias HaMeisim is one of the fruits of Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael and Tchias HaMeisim are totally intertwined with each other. First of all, what's the Bakar? What the Shlomo says. Meaning, one of the 13 principles of our faith is Tchias HaMeisim, the last one, right? Every morning we say it? Yeah. It has very much to do with Eretz Yisrael. I don't think the first 12 have to do with Eretz Yisrael necessarily. The Tchias HaMeisim does. First of all, technically, the Tchias HaMeisim will take place in Eretz Yisrael. And all those who are born in Chutz La'aretz are going to Gilgul Mechilus to Eretz Yisrael. A. B. The Gilui, what the Shlomo is saying. In which pasuk in the Torah does Rashi say on it, Nimtzenu lemeidim l'tchias HaMeisim min HaTorah? Not Oz Yosher. Oz Yosher says, we can't rebus at Tchias HaMeisim. Exactly. Leman yirbu yemechem v'yimei v'nechem al ha'adoma asher nishba Hashem la'avisechem loses, it says loses lahem. Give a look at the Rashi. It's here in Bakstet Yud. Give a look in Bakstet. You know what I said before? Look what's underlined before Bakstet Yud. That's the chiddush that came out today. Give a look. You see what's underlined right over Bakstet? Tzaref lekant rashot hatzlach. Shebeheder achdus, if Am Yisrael are not unified, en Yisrael nikrim banim. Says then they're called banim. Banim is the brothers, so there has to be achdus. If they're not achdus, they're not called banim. Im divrei hamagala hamukos, this my son told me, sherak be'eretz Yisrael nikrim banim. So Cheskel says to be called Banim, you have to have Achdus. The Megala Mukar says to be called Banim, you have to be in Eretz Yisrael. And according to what we're learning in the Mahal tonight, it's two sides of the same coin. Eretz Yisrael is the place where we become one. So therefore, Eretz Yisrael is where you are called Banim, because Banim means Achdus. The Tzlach said the Banim means Achdus. The Megala Mukar says the Banim means Eretz Yisrael. And how do they connect? Isn't that Kavalda, guys? Don't we have the right religion? I'm serious. Is this Meridic? This came out today. The Banim, Achdus, Eretz Yisrael. Okay, I'll be sorry. But the box I'm looking at is box Tet and Yud. I'm sorry? For sure. But it's start because we have Eretz Yisrael. Yeah. Give a look in box Tet and Yud. Leman yirbu yemechem v'imei b'nechem ala adom asher nishba Hashem avosechem lases lohem ki mashma la'aretz. There's a problem here. The others were not alive when we got Eretz Yisrael. In the days of Yeshua ben Nun, the others were not alive. So says Rashi, latet lahem. Latet lachem en ktiv kan. Elo latet lahem. Nimtzenu lemeidim tchias hamesim min haTorah. And that's the Gemara in Sanhedrin. So the pasuk was speaking about Pshuta Shemika. What is it talking about? Eretz Yisrael. Look, what's the pasuk say? Keep mitzvahs that you'll live a long life on the land that I promised to give to your forefathers. The land that I promised to give to your forefathers. So what's the topic? What are we talking about? Eretz Yisrael. Here, HaKadosh Baruch Hu dictated to Moshe Rabbeinu, don't say lahem, don't say lachem, say lahem, and let him know that there will be Tchias HaMesim. The pasuk is speaking about Eretz Yisrael, and this is the place that you're letting known about Tchias HaMesim. So what's that show? What does that show? Behar. Eretz Yisrael and Tchias HaMesim have to do with each other. Technically, it will be here, but it's not with the technically we're saying. Without going into anything which I know nothing about, Eretz Yisrael is connected the Sphira of Netzach. Eretz Yisrael promised our eternity. And the first manifestation of our eternity is there's no dead end. That's Tchias HaMesim. Babis. The Gemara says in Brachas, HaNetzach ze Yerushalayim. L'choshem HaGdula ze Kriyas Yamsuf, HaGvura, HaNetzach ze Yerushalayim. I'm a fair Gemara. Black and white. What? I don't know. Not that I know of. It could be. It could be. It could be. But the point that we want to bring out is, you know how we're going to live forever? Because we were promised Eretz Yisrael. We spoke about this, you remember, guys? But always when it comes to Eretz Yisrael, it says, V'nachalu le'olam. Achuzat olam. L'chau l'zaracha ad olam. עוד 12 דקות רב כדורי ואנחנו סיימנו. Okay? עד עולם. Why does it say always עולם regarding Eretz Yisrael? The Maral speaks about it in Grus Hashem Perek Ches. It's way before the Maral. We will live forever because the recipients of Eretz Yisrael will live forever. And that's Shvatim and Gmir de Lokal Yeshivta. The Gemara Yesh Nachlein. It sounds like Zionish word. It has nothing to do with Zionis. It has to do with Eretz Yisrael. When you walk in Eretz Yisrael, just remember, you see trees in a street. It looks like any other country. You're walking in a place which guarantees our eternity. Kachaza. It has to do with the sphere of Netzach, Ayin, Aher, whatever it means. And the first manifestation is Tchias HaMesim. That each individual is going to go on. No dead end. 100%. Okay. By the way, Rabbi say, on which individuals does the Torah let us know that Tchias HaMesim will take place? Who are the dead ones that are going to come back? The Avos. This could be a little bit of a hint to what the Maral says that we always speak about, that they're all going to pop out from Asam Pela. All the Yidden in the world are going to pop out from Asam Pela. The 6 million, the Tanoim, the Amuraim, the Nevi'im, Chofetz Chaim, the Benagoy, they're all going to come out from Asam Pela. That's what the Maral says. Kachoma. And that's written in the Medrash. Kachoma Amaran Pash Ba'echi. Ukfartana B'Kvosam. Could you imagine that scene? Richard, could you imagine that scene? Millions of Jews popping out from Asam Pela. Who do you think is going to be the first ones coming out of there? Those who came there first. Those are the others. Other reasons not Lehedya he's there. It's not written explicitly that he's there. And the Torah is not written explicitly, but Avraham Yitzchak Yaakov is written explicitly. Mefurish. Meaning on CNN, what are they going to say? Atlanta, we have a call from the Hebron. Abraham and Isaac and Jacob are here. Abraham, could you please tell us what's happening? That's what's going to happen. And while he's talking, the millions are going to pop up from behind. All of them. They're all going to come out from Ma'aseh Machpelah. But it again shows that it has to do with Eretz Yisrael, specifically with Ma'aseh Machpelah, which is Mokum HaChibur. Hebron is Mokum called Chibur. Okay? What do you say? So Tchias HaMeisim is one of the fruits of Eretz Yisrael. Isn't it understood why if someone now is Malva Beribis, he won't make it for Tchias HaMeisim? Not so much because of the severity of the Aveira. That's a Chonatim shot. It's Isulav. And the Aveiras which are much more worse. Like we said before, Misa, Koretz, terrible. The severity, there's probably Aveiras which are more severe. It's not Yorek Valyav Ribis. It's not. But it's the most antithesis and antidote of Eretz Yisrael. And if you put yourself on the antithesis side of Eretz Yisrael, so that individual, unfortunately, will not enjoy what Eretz Yisrael has to offer. And one of the things that Eretz Yisrael offers is Tchias HaMeisim. Our eternity has to do with Eretz Yisrael. The biggest proof is Chavre. Kol Yisrael yesh lehem chelek l'olam haba. You remember? It's a song. Kol Yisrael, it's a mission, right? Kol Yisrael yesh lehem chelek l'olam haba. Shenemar. What's the pasuk? Ma'amach kulam tzadikim l'olam Aretz. So what does it say Olam Haba? What does Aretz mean? Aretz means Olam Haba. Yeah, since when? Look at the redactor. Yisrael Perek Samachay. Aretz means Eretz Yisrael. And from here the Mishnah learns they can all make it to Olam Haba. Rabbi said it's everywhere. I wrote down someplace. There's more than 20 sources that I found. Little me. I used to be once a basketball player. I'm not either anymore. 20 sources that's Lehedya clear that our Olam Haba and Nitzchias has to do with the Eretz Yisrael. Legabe. Rav Hutner speaks about it in Igeres Lamates in Igros Iksavim. He says it explicitly. The Netzach Yisrael comes from Eretz Yisrael. And not because we got a bracha from Avraham. It says also Yishmael got a bracha from Avraham. There's no concept of Netzach Yishmael. You know why? Because we were promised to Eretz Yisrael and they're not. Who knows if maybe that's the reason why they're fighting with us about Eretz Yisrael. Subconsciously know that's our edge over them. We got a bracha from Avraham, they got a bracha from Avraham, but we got also the Haftachas Haaretz, which they don't have. What? Yeah?
So that's the schus,
Again, no, even before that, Avraham got a bracha for Yishmael. Right? That was before. That's a brisman of Zohar. He got a bracha. Okay, Rabbi say. So let's conclude. You know how come we won't make it for Tchias HaMeisim? Yehuda, not because the Issa Shabbat rather, Inyan Shabbat you can call it. Seder, Ani Mikabel. When does the process of Tchias HaMeisim, by the way, do you know that in the Chaver Kiddush and Chutz Haaretz, whenever they bury someone, they put a little bit grains of dust from Eretz Yisrael? You know that?
Yeah.
That's why? Because of this. They should make it for Tchias HaMeisim. It's Eretz Yisrael to get Indian to make it for Tchias HaMeisim. So I have a little grains of the Adam of Eretz Yisrael. Right? Now, just to conclude, when does the process of Tchias HaMeisim start? You could say when they'll come out. Meanwhile, we're waiting. Right, Rav Kaduri? You know when it starts? The moment that he's buried. I'll prove it to you, Rabbi say. And that's just to explain where Rabbi Yoship understood that there's a problem you have libis. When someone's buried in the ground, it's a mitzvah in the Torah to be kovrub alfar. All of us, I'm sure, unfortunately, have to be sometimes in Levias. Right? Your initial thought when you see that they're burying someone, it may seem, chas v'shalom, but it's not, that they're dumping him they're planting him or her. It says Zriya. Oh boy, isn't that gewaltig at the hair? This is the Avon of the Maral Guari. I'll prove it to you from Tchias HaMeisim. I mean, from the bracha that we say Tchias HaMeisim. V'nemon ato lahachios meisim. Nachon? I'll be honest, could I have said, according to the same logic, V'nemon ato libnos Yerushalayim? V'nemon ato latzmiach keren Yeshua? V'nemon ato lekabetz galuyos? Could I have said that? I could have said any bracha in Shemona Esrei. So why punk by Tchias HaMeisim we say it? What would you say about such kasha? Lama dafka po we say v'neman. I'm sorry?
We also use the adjective ne'emon.
I'm sorry? That's something else. That's an adjective that he's a loyal doctor. It's mashal chel. Not that he's trustworthy to do it. It means a good doctor. It's a different ne'emanis. It's a Shem Torah for Reife. That's totally different. The ne'eman ata lachiyas meisim. We believe you're going to do it. It's mashal chel legamre. It's not Reife ne'eman. Reife ne'eman is like Rofet Tov. That's what it means. Umekayim emunosoi lishnei afal. You say emunah twice in that little bracha. Did you ever notice? Lameh. Rav Kodetsky, that's how I would say. Lameh. I don't know why he said instead of lameh, I would say lameh. Twice. Why? Seder Zroim is connected the word emunah. Right? The Gemara Masechet Shabbos on the pasuk vayeh emunah sitecha chosn yeshuas. What's the name of the pasuk? What? Chochma v'das. Says the Gemara that each word is corresponding to a different seder. Emunah is corresponding to what? Zroim. Why? A little Tosfos on the page. It says Ita b'Yerushalmi. We don't have the Yerushalmi. It's known the Rishonim had Yerushalmi that we don't have. Shemamin b'chei Elomi v'zoreah. Every planting is emunah. Because on the shofar, you're burying it. No, it's going to come back one day. It will sprout and come back. Yeah, how do you know? We trust Hashem. When you're speaking about Zriya, you say emunah. And Tchias HaMeisim is matzmiach Yeshua. It will sprout out. That's what it means, Chabad Be'emes. We're Amanetzach. So how do we look at death? As a temporary planting, and one day it will sprout out. Sprout out. That's what's going to happen. Matzmiach Yeshua. When does the planting process start? I mean, when you bury him. The body starts decomposing, like with any other seed. It decomposes, and what? It decomposes, it becomes one with the land, and then it sprouts. That's what happens. That's what happens with every kvura. Heavy kvura, that's what it means. Planting, and it's going to sprout one day. Those rats were waiting for this individual, and they would not let him to decompose in Eretz Yisrael. They were waiting there to eat him up alive. Not alive, but dead. That story with Rabbi Yosef. What does it mean that the vicious rats are waiting there in the pit for this body? Again, I'm just saying. I never asked Rabbi Yosef. Who knows what he knows? Who knows where he came from? But in light of what we're learning tonight, is very understood. They're not enabling him to start the kickoff to Tchias HaMeisim. The kickoff is at the burial, at the Zriya, at the Kvura. And the Mitzvah Hashem HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we trust him, he's going to bring it back one day. Emunah, as Seder Zraim. Said Rabbi Yosef, check out if he was a Malva Beribis. That's probably the issue. Because he's so mufka from Tchias HaMeisim. So, nobody said, I just want to tell you, I have no problem with people falling asleep. I understand. It's 2 to 10. It's the end of the day. I'll tell you, it's just a problem with me. I'm so jealous. Because I also would like to sleep. And so I'm just pushing jealous. It's pushing kina, which is a terrible midah. I got to work on myself. Nobody said, each one takes his one home. Take it home. There's more. There's another ketta to it. The hemshech of the marrow there. And it's nifla moed, but now we understand why ribis You know, it sounds like a scary word, no? Ribis. It's scary. It's like it scares us. Heter Iska works because Heter Iska. What is the lumpness of Heter Iska? How does it work? We're one again. We're in this together. So that it's not called Heter Achdus anymore. Are we going to have a minyan Mariv here? Yeah? Rabbi, I want to, first of all, again, we're learning today, we said in the beginning, for our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael. You know, if you live now in Ashkelon or Ashdod, I don't know what kind of night how much you're going to sleep tonight. I'm serious. You know how many Yidden are there? About 1 million. In that area. So 1 million mi'achenu b'sarenu. So be'ez Hashem, no one should get hurt. That's the main thing first, of course. And everybody, it's going on over there, that Aravi. And look at the double standards. They throw lechatchila to hit civilians. And that's okay. We aim the terrorists, and sometimes civilians get also killed. Terrible. Such double standards. That's called anti-Semitism. So each one takes his home thing, so you shouldn't say, I never give you a present. Okay, what do we say?